In the depths of the underground of Raccoon City, an imaginary American metropolis that houses around 1 million inhabitants, a dark secret lies hidden, the Hive, an underground complex of ultra-technological laboratories owned by the omnipotent multinational Umbrella Corporation. This pharmaceutical company, the most powerful in the world, uses the Hive to conduct illegal research on biological weapons and genetic manipulation, all under the control of a supercomputer called Red Queen. Endowed with advanced artificial intelligence and unsettling decision-making autonomy, the Red Queen monitors every corner of the facility with relentless coldness. In this setting of science and horror, a young researcher named Lisa enters the Hive, unaware that her life is about to change forever. The tension begins to rise when a man, encased in a radiation suit, handles samples of green and blue liquids inside a reinforced briefcase. With nervous movements, he drops a sample of the blue liquid, the T-virus, on the floor and flees, taking the green liquid, the antivirus, with him. The Red Queen, detecting a potential biological risk, activates an extreme security protocol. The laboratory doors seal hermetically, and halon gas floods the facilities, killing all personnel within seconds. The silence that follows is terrifying, broken only by the hum of the machines and the echo of the alarms. Meanwhile, on the surface, Alice, a woman with a mysterious past, wakes up naked in the shower of a luxurious villa in the forests near Raccoon City. Confused and with her memory erased, she wanders through the house, trying to piece together the fragments of her identity. Suddenly, she is attacked by Matt, an enigmatic man posing as a police officer. Before she can react, a group of heavily armed men bursts onto the scene and arrests both of them. Among them are James One Shade, Chad Kaplan, J.D. Salinas, and Reno Campo, members of a special team sent by Umbrella. Alice discovers that she and Spence, a man who fainted on the train to the Hive, are supposedly married, although it all seems to be part of an elaborate facade. Upon arriving at the Hive, one reveals the true objective of his mission, to deactivate the Red Queen. However, the path to the supercomputer room is fraught with deadly dangers. In a narrow hallway, 1 and 3 other team members are brutally killed by a security system composed of laser beams that slice them to pieces with macabre precision. Alice and Kaplan manage to deactivate the Red Queen, but in doing so, they cut the primary power to the entire structure, plunging the Hive into an unsettling darkness.
You're all going to die down here.
Alice, Kaplan, and Spence meet with JD and Rain, who had stayed behind to watch over Matt. However, the situation becomes even more desperate when Rain is attacked and bitten by one of the Hive technicians, now transformed into a zombie. The horror intensifies as more zombies emerge from the shadows, attacking the group with inhuman ferocity. JD falls victim to the claws of the undead, while Alice and Matt manage to escape, leaving their companions behind. Spence, Kaplan, and Rain, wounded and terrified, take refuge in the Red Queen's chamber, seeking protection. But even there, the feeling of safety is fleeting. The Hive, now engulfed in chaos, has become a labyrinth of death and despair. Alice, with each step she takes, feels the weight of uncertainty and terror consuming her. What secrets does Umbrella hide? And what role does she play in all of this? The line between life and death fades, and Alice knows that, to survive, she will have to face not only the horrors around her, but also the demons of her own past. Meanwhile, Alice, still dazed by the events around her, is attacked by a group of zombie Dobermans, creatures that were once guard dogs but are now killing machines with glassy eyes and bloody jaws. With superhuman reflexes that she herself cannot explain, Alice manages to kill them, although she is incredulous about her own abilities. What has happened to her? What has turned her into this? She doesn't have time to answer those questions, because soon she finds herself saving Matt from a grotesque creature, Lisa, a mutated woman who turns out to be Matt's sister. With tears in his eyes, Matt reveals the truth. He and Lisa were environmentalists seeking to expose Umbrella's illegal experiments. They had planned to infiltrate the Hive to obtain a sample of the T-virus and show it to the media, and Alice was their contact inside the facility. The revelation shakes Alice, but there is no time to process it. Meanwhile, Rain and Kaplan, the only survivors of the original group, reveal a terrifying piece of news. The exit door to the villa will be sealed irreversibly in a short time. If they don't escape soon, they will be trapped in the Hive forever. Alice, determined to find a way out, reactivates the Red Queen to get more information. The supercomputer, with its cold and calculating voice, explains what happened. When the T-virus spread, it decided to seal the Hive to contain the infection. The virus has reanimated the technicians, turning them into zombies, and the infection can occur in various ways, such as a bite. The only possible escape route is through a drainage pipe and the electrical systems, a narrow and dangerous path. The group, now reduced to Alice, Matt, Rain, and Kaplan, ventures into the pipe, but the horror doesn't end. The zombies chase them, and among them is JD, now mutated into a grotesque creature. Kaplan, fighting valiantly, succumbs to the undead, leaving the others with a feeling of loss and despair. Upon arriving at the laboratories, Alice has a flash of memory. She remembers the existence of an antivirus that could save Rain, who has been bitten and is on the verge of transformation. However, when they arrive at the place where the antivirus should be, they don't find it. It is then that Spence, who has been silent and disoriented, begins to regain his memory. With an expression of guilt and terror, he reveals the truth. He is the man seen at the beginning, attempting to steal samples of the T-virus, the blue liquid, and the antivirus, the green liquid. In his attempt to escape, he dropped a sample of the virus on the ground, infecting the Hive, and then fainted on the train due to the halon gas. Now, with his cover blown, Spence confesses that the briefcase with the antivirus is on the train. However, in an act of selfishness and desperation, he traps everyone in the lab and flees, seeking to save himself. But fate has other plans for Spence. In his escape, he is attacked by a licker, a horrendous monster created by the direct experimentation of the T-virus. With sharp claws and a long, lethal tongue, the licker devours Spence, leaving Alice and the others with a sense of macabre justice, but also with the certainty that the antivirus, their only hope, is now out of their reach. The group, now smaller than ever, continues to fight for survival in a place where every shadow hides a new horror. Alice, with her unwavering determination, knows she must find a way to escape, not only to save her life but to expose Umbrella's crimes to the world. However, time is running out, and the Hive seems determined not to let them go. Will they be able to escape before it's too late, or will they become just another statistic in Umbrella's dark legacy? The Red Queen, with her cold and calculating voice, informs the group that they will not be able to leave the Hive until they have eliminated Rain, who is infected and poses a threat to everyone. However, Kaplan, who has miraculously survived the previous attacks, makes a desperate decision. He disables the Red Queen, freeing Alice, Matt, and Rain from her relentless control. With a sigh of relief, the four board the train that will take them back to the villa. Alice carries with her the briefcase that contains both the T-virus and the antidote, aware that its contents could be the key to stopping the nightmare they have lived through. Upon arriving at the villa, Rain and Kaplan are attended to, but the calm is fleeting. Suddenly, the liquor, the monster that had devoured Spence, reappears with renewed ferocity. It attacks brutally, injuring Matt and killing Kaplan in a moment of heart-wrenching violence. Rain, whose infection is advancing rapidly, transforms into a zombie, forcing Matt to make the painful decision to end her life. Alice, with tears in her eyes but determination in her heart, faces the liquor in a fierce battle. Finally, Matt manages to kill the creature, but the cost has been high. Kaplan and Rain have fallen, and Matt begins to show signs of mutation. Alice and Matt, now the only survivors, run towards the exterior door, knowing they only have a few seconds before it seals shut for good. Just as the door begins to close, they manage to escape, but the victory is bittersweet. Matt, increasingly weak and rapidly transforming, trusts that Alice will be able to cure him with the antidote. However, before she can do so, a group of Umbrella scientists, led by Dr. William Birkin, bursts onto the scene. With unsettling coldness, they take Matt, inserting him into the Nemesis program, a dark project that promises to turn the infected into biological weapons. Alice, trying to fight, is stunned and loses consciousness. When Alice wakes up, she finds herself in a laboratory at the Raccoon City Hospital, dazed and confused. With determination, she forces the lock of the room where she was confined and steps out into the streets of the city. What she finds is a desolate scene. Raccoon City, once bustling and full of life, is now devastated and deserted. The T-virus has escaped from the Hive and infected the entire city. The streets are full of zombies, and the buildings are ablaze. The air is thick with a terrifying silence, broken only by the moans of the undead and the crackling of the debris. Alice, alone but determined, knows that her fight is not over. With the briefcase in hand and the memory of those she has lost, she ventures into the city, determined to find answers and stop Umbrella before it's too late. But at every corner, horror awaits her, and the uncertainty of what is to come keeps her in a constant state of alert. Will Alice be able to survive in this new world infested with death and chaos? And what darker secrets does Umbrella hold in the shadows of Raccoon City?